out of the two, which one I kind of feel is, you know, the better bag. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided, you know, I wanted to do like a first impressions of this Gucci Marmont in the small size, but then I thought, how can I take it to that next level? Why not also do a bit of a comparison between the Chanel medium classic flap? Before I dive into today's video, if you are new to my channel and you do love all things luxury, then I would love if you would hit that subscribe button below and also the bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos. I upload every weekend and I may try to also do a midweek upload as well. Okay, so diving right in. At the moment, I am currently trying to sell this bag. Part of me doesn't want to because I really love the color so much. But the other part of me is like, there's a bit of a redundancy with owning this, the medium size in the classic flap, and also owning a Kelly bag. So I own two Kelly bags, in the 28 Celia and then in the 25 Return. And let's just be frank, when it comes to the Kelly bag, obviously it's the Kelly bag. I'm not gonna let them go. They're not going anywhere. But the medium classic flap and those Kelly bags are shoulder bags on me. They aren't crossbody bags. However, with the Kelly bags, I can use different straps to make them crossbody. I can't do it with the medium classic flap. So that is my predicament, is that there is some level of bit of a redundancy with owning this size and then the Kelly bags. So I wanted to film a review between the two of these because the sizing is pretty darn comparable. So, all right. Both bags. Let's just frankly talk about details. We know that this is ridiculously expensive. Like, they are not in the same ballpark in terms of pricing. We are not going to be comparing it in that regards because this is $11,170 Australian and this is $3,160 Australian. So there is over like 8,000 pretty much in a price difference there. So, you know, they don't compare in that regards. So if you have a budget that doesn't hit the mark of a medium classic flap, you know, you have a lower budget, then you're gonna end up having to go for the Gucci anyway. So, you know, pricing, we're not gonna really worry about that. Sizing, let's do a sizing comparison of both these bags. So side by side, that's how the bags look. The actual depth, so this measurement here, both of them are actually 7 centimeters. So hopefully that's reflecting on camera that they are pretty much the same, except the Gucci Marmont does look that little bit wider just because it's got more give to the actual bag. But in terms of where the piping is, both bags are 7 centimeters in their depth. So yeah, they're both identical in size. They are both 26 centimeters in length. And then the actual height of the bag, that's where they have a slight difference and it's very, very minimal. Based on the measurements I actually did, I feel as though the Gucci is about 16 centimeters, but looking at them both like that, I think that they're both the same. So they are probably like 16 centimeters in the actual height of the bag. So identical dimensions. But in terms of what these bags actually will fit between the two of them, do they fit the same even though the dimensions are the same? No, they don't. They do not fit the same. I'm gonna film the actual what fits in each bag separately just so it's not cumbersome trying to show it like, you know, live on camera sort of thing. But the Gucci Marmont does fit more than the Chanel classic flap. And that is mainly because of the actual opening of the bag. So the Gucci Marmont, it doesn't have a double flap, it's just a single flap opening, whereas the classic flap has that double flap. And that double flap is where you're gonna get that restriction as to what the bag's going to fit, and it's also gonna depend on the flexibility of the bag. So the Gucci Marmont, being that it's only a single flap, you're gonna have more give to really fill it up and then close the bag. Whereas the classic flap, you cannot fill it up too much because then you will not be able to close the snap button here on the actual double flap. And what I found is that if you leave the snap button open and undone, this little knob here may end up indenting the actual caviar leather if you don't close the button. So that's if you actually end up filling up the bag. If you fill up the bag, that's when that risk kind of happens. But if you really only put like a few things in there, like your cards, keys, phone, maybe like hand sanitizer, bare essentials, maybe a packet of tissues, like really like not to the top. If it's just purely those bare essentials and you don't want to close that double flap, then you'll probably find that it's not going to leave like an indentation on the caviar leather, but there is still that chance that it might. The double flap is intended to be closed. It's the whole intention of it. Otherwise they wouldn't have put that snap button there. But I find it kind of annoying, because then it means that I have to do more with my bag to get in and out of it, to close it, to, you know, to try and take care of it. And I'm gonna admit it, I find it pretty cumbersome. However, that being said, you know, the double flap does add to the actual structure of the bag, and it helps to keep the bag in this kind of pristine shape. So that is why Chanel has it. It really helps with the overall structure of the bag. Whereas before they didn't always have the double flap, and you would notice that, you know, the Chanel bags didn't maintain their structure as well as they do with the double flap. I know definitely the small, the medium and the jumbo size is always a double flap. But yeah, that's the way that Chanel does it. So the Gucci Marmont is definitely going to fit more, and that's something that you really need to keep in mind as well. How you're going to be using this bag. If you're going to just use, you know, this bag as like an evening bag, special occasions, or it's, you know, you're just going to be using the bag, you're out and about, you don't have kids with you or anything like that. You know, I feel like the medium classic flap's going to be okay. You're not going to find it all too bothersome. You might still, but I feel like you probably can deal a bit better. Whereas if you are planning to use this size of bag and you want to use it for evening as well, but you also want to use it as a day bag, you want to use it with kids, you know, or you want to use it to just do like very casual day-to-day sort of things, then I kind of feel like the Gucci Marmont in the small size is the way to go, because it is just such an easy opening. Like, close it back up. That's how the bag is. There's this little button just down in here. So just down there, click it open and you open it up. So that is it. That it is ridiculously simple and easy to use versus, you know, like I was saying with the medium classic flap, it is more cumbersome. You've got the turn lock and then you've got the double flap. You've got that snap button for the double flap. It's a harder bag to use. So Gucci Marmont, definitely in terms of what it fits, its functionality in terms of getting in and out of the bag, really that usability aspect, the Gucci Marmont is the better bag. But the Chanel classic flap, it wasn't designed to be, I don't feel like Chanel had it in mind to be like, oh, we want to design this bag so someone can use it so they can go to bloody Costco or Walmart. You know, they didn't design the bag with that in mind. I'm pretty darn certain that they designed the bag to be a, you know, an elegant luxury handbag that you probably just use, you know, if you're going out or if you're the sort of lady that's very, you know, prim and proper. I'm sure that they have designed it in that in mind. However, that being said, the everyday person now that loves handbags and loves luxury is an average person. We run around, we wear sweatpants, you know, we work, you know, some of us have kids, some of us don't, you know, some of us go and play sports on the weekend and want to take our handbags with us. Some of us go shopping at Walmart, Costco, Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, Kmart, whatever it may be. We are just the average everyday person now that collects luxury handbags. So things have changed. But this is the classic design for Chanel, and it's quite clear that they're not going anywhere in terms of their design. Gucci Marmont is a new design for Gucci. Gucci had like this major resurgence back in, I can't even remember now, but maybe it was like 2013, 2014, something like that maybe. I don't know, somewhere around that, you know, that year range, around about 2013, 2015, around there. Gucci had a major resurgence. This was a bag that they came out with, a new design. So I feel like Gucci had a different mindset as to who was going to be the person using this bag. I feel like this was designed to be more modern, youthful, and yeah, for the modern day luxury lover, really. That's what I feel like this bag has been designed with that thought. Before we go into like talking about like how you use the bag, crossbody, and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to talk about like quality, because I feel like this is something that is worth sort of addressing because of the price point between these bags. I must say that I am actually pretty impressed with the quality of this Gucci bag. Like, this Chanel bag is also amazing. The quality is also amazing. We're just talking like these bags in general. We're not going to do a comparison to like how it is to Louis Vuitton, how it is to Hermes, you know, anything like that. I'm just saying at face value, both these bags are amazing quality. They feel really good. They feel really well made. The only thing that I kind of noticed between the two, I think that each of them has somewhat of a slight craftsmanship fault. and or quality control fault. So with my particular Chanel bag, and this is quite common though, this happens a lot, especially with caviar leather, because caviar leather is a heat pressed grain, so it's got more of like a firmness to it. And when they do their stitching, it just means that it's not, it doesn't look as impeccable with the actual leather. Like the stitch to the leather sometimes can look like there's a bit of separation because of the actual leather itself. But I noticed with my one, with the actual pin stitches at the back. Okay, so you see on this side, that's the stitch there. It looks really nice and neat. It doesn't look like there's any kind of split to leather or anything like that. But whereas on this side, just that little top part there, just on the top where the stitch goes in, it's like it's slightly kind of like it had to break through the leather a little bit more, and it caused slightly like a bit of a like, sort of like a split, but it's not. It's not. It's just that it kind of seems like the leather had to give more to the stitch actually breaking through, because caviar leather is quite firm. So that was kind of the only craftsmanship thing that I kind of noticed on it. But I don't really feel like it's, to me, that's not exactly like a fault. That's just how it is with caviar. And you sometimes see that on the sides as well. Like on the sides of the bag, you'll see like a bit more of a separation in each stitch to where the caviar kind of joins, but it's completely normal. So you see here how there's like, just like that more of that separation happening here, just over there, but it's totally normal. To some people, they might go, oh, that doesn't look good, but it's just normal because it's caviar leather. It's not like lambskin. It doesn't have that like stretch to it. Caviar leather is quite firm and stiff. The Gucci Marmont, the only thing that I kind of noticed was that like a bit of a craftsmanship kind of flaw, or maybe like a quality oversight. There was a little bit of like a glue, it looks like it's a bit of a glue residue. You probably can't even see it, but it's just like, you can just see there's this tiny little bit of glue residue just up here, and it'll probably just rub off maybe with like an eraser or something like that, just get a bit of friction happening to peel the glue off. But other than that, there was nothing else. But that's also because of the leather too. I think that Gucci is using kind of like a calf skin or something like that, and the calf skin isn't as firm as caviar. It just seems like there is hardly any kind of stitch to leather issues or any kind of craftsmanship, you know, issues. But again, like I said, I don't feel like the caviar medium classic flap has like quality issues. I just feel like it's just the detriment of the leather and the stitching. It's just pretty difficult with caviar leather. So I also noticed that there was a little bit of glue residue over here when I was just looking at the bag. So if I can maybe show that a bit better. It's just kind of there. It's just like a grey cast, and it's just a little bit of like glue residue. If you are looking for a Gucci Marmont, I will link down below where I would recommend to buy the Gucci Marmont from authorized retailers. Usually I would say Matches Fashion is pretty much one of the better ones. I notice it has kind of like the lower price. They don't update their price increases as quickly. I've noticed that some of their like their Gucci Marmonts are also less. Anyways, let's go back to the bag. So in terms of the actual bag, it can be worn crossbody. It's got a very nice length of an actual. So in terms of the actual bag, it can be worn crossbody, and that's why I thought it was really cool, because it has all that versatility to it. It's got the double grommets as well. The double grommets is this, when it's got the two holes for the actual strap. Interior as well is kind of like a suede lined interior. The strap drop on the Gucci is about 55 centimeters, and I think that the classic flap was around about like 50 centimeters in the actual strap drop, and that's why it's not as easy to wear crossbody. One thing I also noticed, because I just pulled out the strap, is that the glazing on this is okay. I kind of feel like it can be slightly a little bit messy, but I feel like that's also probably the color of the glazing on the color of the actual bag. So that means that you know, it's just more obvious, the actual glazing, and if they haven't done it the absolute cleanest. It can be worn crossbody. You can also double strap it just to wear it on the shoulder as well. And then I'm sure there's probably some kind of way to wear it as a top handle, where you kind of, you know, tuck in the straps or whatever it may be. Running through, I know that I've kind of done this video in a very weird way, but I didn't kind of mention the fact that on the back of the Marmont, you don't have that Mona Lisa pocket, whereas on the Chanel you do. But I mean, no one really uses it, like the Mona Lisa pocket, all that much, because it doesn't really fit anything. So it does have that heart on it. I noticed some people, they really don't like that heart. Like they feel like it just kind of puts them off the bag. I don't love it either, but it's not enough for me to go, oh, to like put me off the bag or anything like that. But I don't I feel like it just doesn't really do them any favors. Like, why is there a heart at the back of the bag? Like, why? You know, their designer, Alessandro, is very, very quirky. So maybe that's why they opted for it. I'm not sure if you know the reason why they opted for the heart, then, you know, feel free to let me know. But I don't like it, but it's not something that's like a deal breaker or anything like that. I just kind of ignore it. I just think it's a bit weird. I don't know what else I can really sort of say. Like, I just think that it's a really impressive bag, you know. The other thing I noticed is like with the age gold hardware, for some people they see it as like being a bit of a defect where there's like, you know, that dirty mark inside the age gold, but that's just a part of the actual hardware. It's an age gold, and then I think there's like polished on the top, but then the insides of it just look dirty. I'm pretty sure that's just the way that they have to do the age gold, you know, and then they polish it on the actual surface level. So to me, not really that bothered by it, to be honest. Yeah, I just feel like it's a pretty good bag. Like, price point wise, I feel like it's very reasonable. It's well made. You know, you look at the Louis Vuitton bags when they do their leather bags, and they can be quite expensive. They can be over $4,000, their leather bags, and upwards. It's comparison to the medium classic flap, even though they're in a completely different ballpark. The pricing is totally different. That's, you know, this is Chanel, and this screams absolute top tier level, like luxury. You know, you pretty much got Hermes then Chanel in the luxury food chain. So I know that, you know, they are different bags in terms of their perception, but in terms of like functionality and what you're going for, if you're just going for something that's more carefree, casual, like day bag, but has that ability to still be used at night because it's a luxury bag, then the Gucci Marmont is really good value, like really good value. But from a collector's point of view, you know, if you're really wanting to get a Chanel bag, you're really wanting something like, you know, I mean, it's Chanel, what else can I say? Then still the medium classic flap is a great option. For me, even though I said that I am selling this, you know, it's primarily just to do with that redundancy between like the Kelly bags, but I think that it's also the price point too, because it is like $11,000. I feel like that is so expensive to just be using it as like more of a formal kind of bag, whereas I would probably just reach for my Kelly bags for more of like, you know, special occasions, going out for dinner or, you know, that kind of thing. I would just more so reach for the Kelly bags. If this was like pre-loved, vintage, and a medium classic flap without the double flap, you know, it would probably be very different. If I had, you know, let's just paint a picture here. I would love like a beige vintage classic flap in the single flap. If I got one in a medium and I paid like say $5,000 for it, even though it was vintage and lambskin and squished in its quilts, I'd be totally okay with that. You know, that's fine because it's like half the price. So yeah, then I would definitely, you know, be in a case of where I would be able to use it more casually, more carefree. But because this was like $11,000 and I can't carry it crossbody, so that takes away more of that casual element for me when I can't wear something crossbody. I wear it the same as the Kelly bags. So in the Kelly bags, I can actually wear them crossbody because like I said, with the strap interchange, but this I can't. So that's where I just kind of feel like, oh, perhaps it wasn't the best decision. Maybe I should have just waited to try and find a small classic flap in this color. But then when I was looking for this color in a bag, the small classic flaps were selling for more than the medium. They were selling for a premium price. And that to me, I don't like to do that. I really don't like to pay very high premium for Chanel bags. Even though we did do it for this particular bag, it was still, in contrast to the retail price, it was just over, it was like about $1,000 over the retail price, just over $1,000. But I was seeing the small classic flap selling for like $2,000 over retail. And that is it. Links will be down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.